SHC Athletics, and then I'll hand it over to Coach Chan, and he will take it from there. So without any further ado, I think we're going to start with a prayer. So let us remember that we're in the holy presence of God. We ask tonight for God's blessing on the student athletes, coaches, parents among us as we enter this 2022 track and field season. Help our coaches to faithfully guide and motivate the student athletes, help our parents support them with unconditional love, and help each individual to perform to the best of their ability, remaining respectful of their opponents and devoted to their teammates. We ask God to provide them with the strength, faith, courage, and love needed to support one another. St. Vincent de Paul, pray for us. St. Louise de Mirac, pray for us. St. John Baptist de La Salle, pray for us. St. Elizabeth Ann Seton, pray for us, and live Jesus in our hearts forever. Okay, welcome everyone. And I'm going to share my screen with everyone here. Let's see. So for those of you who are parents of juniors or seniors, you may faintly remember back to February of 2020, which was when we had the last spring season sports parent meeting. Back then, in the olden days, as someone may say, is when we had these spring, winter, and fall parent meetings. They were done in conjunction with the other sports going on in that particular season. So for the spring, that would be, besides track and field, swimming for boys and girls lacrosse, baseball, softball, boys tennis, boys golf, boys volleyball, and I think I covered them all. So, but in COVID years, and this year in particular, when we started things back up in the fall, given the restrictions, we just asked the sports teams to have their own individual meeting. They've been in person, they've been in Zoom situations like this. And so that's kind of an overview of what we've done in the past and where we are here today. And usually when we've had these parent meetings, there was a general portion of the meeting where we did introductions of the teams, of the coaches. We talked about general policies and procedures. And then after that, we had all the teams go to the different places in school, and they had the parent meeting like Coach Chan is going to have tonight. So I'm just going to spend about 5, 6, 7 minutes or so going over some general things. And so many of you, some of you may have seen this or heard this phrase before, educational-based athletics. I wouldn't be surprised if many of you haven't heard it because, you know, you really haven't been involved in high school athletics yet to the point that others who are juniors and seniors have been. But what this phrase is, it's something that's not only used at Sacred Heart Cathedral, it's used at other schools in our league, which is the WCAL. It's used at many other schools in our section, which we are part of the Central Coast section. It's used at many other high schools throughout the state of California, which is governed by the CIF, which stands for the California Interscholastic Federation. So this phrase has great meaning to it for those of us who are in high school sports. It's much more than the sport in which your sons or daughters are playing, in this case, track and field. It's much more about running faster or jumping further or jumping higher or throwing an implement as far as you can. There are life lessons that Coach Chan and the other coaches will be teaching your sons and daughters that will far last the track and field season, not only this year, but for the next 2 or 3 years or 4 years that they're going to be a part of the track and field program here at Sacred Heart Cathedral. This is one thing that Coach Chan does beautifully. He weaves into the track and field experience life lessons that help shape and mold your sons and daughters into the people they ultimately become. They don't even know it's happening while it's happening, but they look in the back end of it and they realize, wow, that was great and wonderful, what experience I went through, and it definitely has defined me and who I am, and perhaps even what direction I take in life. One thing with regards to this educational athletics that
Yeah.
is a little bit challenging in today's world is this picture I'm showing you. You know, on one end, you got the youth and club sports that are pushing in, and then on the other end, you know, not as much in track and field, but definitely in some other sports, you got the college and professionals squeezing in. So this beautiful thing that we call educational based athletics is getting squeezed out from both ends. And so what we want to do here at Sacred Heart Cathedral is to ensure that this great thing, which is called educational based athletics, doesn't get squeezed out. So we're doing everything in our power to communicate this to players, to parents, to everyone, to coaches, to administrators, that, you know, what we got going here with regards to high school athletics is a beautiful thing, and we want to preserve it and make sure that we can continue it in a manner in which it is designed to be continued. So how do we do that? Well, we always make sure that people realize that, you know, whether it's track and field or swimming or football or basketball, whatever the sport is, we always want to have this picture in mind where the purpose is over the goal, to where, you know, what is driving us is something far greater than wins and losses, or my time on 100 or the 440 or my distance, you know, in throwing the shot put or the discus. You know, there's much more to it than that. Now, we always tell people, you know, this is what we're about. You know, we will always, and Coach Chan does a very good job, as well as his coaches, we will always we always prepare, plan, and play to win. But the win or the achievement of a goal is not our purpose. Education is our purpose. We're here for much more than what the result is on the scoreboard. And that's something that is, you know, we have to constantly communicate and talk about, not only amongst the teams, but also amongst each other as coaches, because sometimes, you know, this thing can get flipped and it becomes goal over purpose. And when that happens, you know, then we run into challenges and we run into problems and situations that aren't very good, because we're dealing with it in the reverse of what we should be, which is purpose over goal. So going further. So Sacred Heart Cathedral, this is our purpose is as an athletic department, you know, and you can read it clearly there. The purpose of SHC Athletic Department is to help students develop as people of integrity and respect, who will serve, be inclusive, and commit to living the gospel. We develop students academically, athletically, and spiritually. That's who we are. That's what our purpose is. So when we do things and we're making decisions and choices for whatever the case may be, you know, whether it's track and field or whether it's something far greater than that, and it's more about the athletic departments, we will always keep this purpose in mind when we're making those decisions. And just to go one step further, so we've asked coaches to put forth their own transformational purpose statement. And this is mine right here that I have communicated to my coaches over the course of this year. And it's where my purpose as an athletic administrator is to lead, is to teach and model the values of empathy, service to others, and being a reliable teammate. So everything that I do each and every day, whether it's a student athlete, a coach, an opponent, a referee, you know, another administrator, it's done with this purpose in mind. And I know if my decision can't measure up to this purpose, then that's not the right decision for that moment, whatever that moment is. So the last slide here I want to show you is just a couple of things in terms of communication. I know Coach Chan is going to go into more detail on this, but I thought I would just put it out there as well. So we have an app called the SHC Experience. And so if you haven't downloaded, I encourage you to go into the App Store and download it. It has everything you need to know related to SHC athletics. Also, as Coach Chan will be talking about, there's a track and field Schoology page. That is his main mode of communication, as it is with all the other coaches at Sacred Heart Cathedral. And then the last thing I just want to show you is the athletics handbook, which I will post on the track and field Schoology page. This is a document that goes through a lot of the policies, procedures, philosophy statements with regards to SHC athletics. So at your leisure, take a look at it. If you have a question about anything with regards to SHC athletics, you can probably find your answer in here. And if you can't, reach out to Coach Chan, or you can reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. So, now I'm going to toss it over to Coach Chan, but before I do, I want to just tell you that, so Coach Chan, and I always get this wrong, so this would be what season for you in track and field?
Number 24.
Okay, so this is his 24th, which would be, he's done 24 track and field seasons. He's done 24 cross-country seasons. So he's been here for 48 seasons worth of time, and I've been with him every step of the way. And I always like telling this story, and I think I told it back in the fall when we had cross-country, and I apologize if you're hearing this again, but so it was, as you can see, 24 years ago, that would put us into somewhere in 1998, I do believe. And me and the other athletic director, her name was Joanne Momono at the time, were sitting in our athletic offices in the middle of the summertime, trying to figure out how we're going to find a cross-country coach that was about a month away from starting up. And so literally off the streets comes in Coach Chan. And he's got, I think it was a Progress, if I'm not mistaken, right?
The San Francisco Independent.
San Francisco Independent newspaper, one of those little, neighborhood newspapers. And we had put an ad in there, and he came by with that newspaper in hand and asked us if the job was still open. And literally the rest is history. So you should be excited that you have Coach Chan mentoring your sons and daughters. He's great. He's wonderful. He's all that we all are about in terms of SHC athletics. And so without any further ado, I will turn it over to Coach Chan.
Thank you. So let me, if you didn't know this, we are recording this. I hope you grant your permission. I am right now putting in the chat. It's not formatted very nice, but it's all those hyperlinks that I've been sharing on Schoology and whatnot. If you didn't get it yet, if you want to click on the chat, you're welcome to do that. And then I will share my screen. All right, here we are at our parent meeting. It's not the exact format I wanted, but I'm not going to worry about it. There's my contact information if you need it. Cell phone, email address. I am better at email than I am at Schoology messaging. Our theme this season, after much fanfare of introducing it, is Opportunity Rocks. It's paying homage to our theme from 20 years ago in 2002, which featured the word opportunities and rocks. And COVID safety, I feel like I'm not doing my job if I don't at least mention some of this. So masks currently, today being March 1st, are required indoors at school. That's likely to change. Stay tuned. The COVID safety coordinator will be working with the administrative team to get word out to the students and the families. But for now, in track and field, indoors at school is probably limited to when you're in the weight room and when you're riding a team bus to or from the meet. Because the risk of transmission is quite low outdoors, there is no mask requirement for outdoor track and field practices or meets. And that's what's approved from SFDPH. No one's ever going to tell you to take off your mask. It is each individual's choice. And there are no additional COVID testing requirements or vaccination requirements beyond what the school requires of all students. So just on track and field, I'm not going to impose anything that is different from what we're just doing at school. Okay, on to the track and field stuff. I do want to say this is a little less personal, not doing it in person. We're all going to get home a little bit sooner. My apologies now. I am going to rattle through a lot of stuff as quickly as I can here. So practices, we've been living this for a couple of weeks now. You've probably figured out by now they are every day, including weekends and holidays. It's supposed to rain.
Not here so loud, they can't hear your coach.
It is supposed to rain Wednesday into Thursdays. We'll see. We will, work out even if it's raining at times. So you do need to be prepared. Practices are typically 2 hours, but as you've already seen, sometimes we go a little bit longer, especially if we're at a track or at a facility. We actually have hurdles out, things like that. What's showing on the screen right now is our generic calendar. We kind of stick to it pretty well. It gives you an idea of what to expect each day of the week. The weight room days, the Tuesday, Thursdays are a little complicated, but we've successfully done it 2 or 3 times now. So I'm not going to confuse it by reading it to you right now. Just, what we've been doing is working, keep doing Tuesday and Thursday like you have been. Fridays are probably the most complicated later in the season. That's the days that have the most variability. Like for example, this week with it being a student holiday, we will practice in the morning at 9 o'clock at Kezar. There are times we will practice at Kezar after school. There will be times we'll go somewhere besides Kezar after school. And then there will be times that we go to Westmore, but on those days we will not start practice until 6 p.m. So it is my hope to not do a lot of those, but we are going to have to do some of those. And typically on Saturday, I think you should expect there to either be a meet or a 9 a.m. practice at Westmore. So, as you can see, you need to be at practice. If you miss practice and you don't communicate it with me, or it wasn't something that we excuse you for, you will miss the next meet. What's up on the screen right now is in the packet of information. I'm not going to read it to you right now. I just let you know that it is in writing. If you need to miss practice, communication is the key. You should think of this as I'm the head coach. I should always know where you are and what's going on. So I should know ahead of time, and I shouldn't have to come ask you, where were you yesterday? So this year, all requests for an excused absence are on this Google form. It's one of the links I put in the chat earlier. This just allows me to have one place to go. I don't have to dig through my backpack for a note you might have handed to me. I don't have to file the email. I don't have to print an email. It's just all on the Google form. I just go to the responses. I can sort it by date, and I've got it there. And I can share it with other coaches if necessary, so they know who's coming and going. So this is new. The good news is you don't have to write notes to me anymore, if that was a pain for you. And I can tell you that you do not need to be a Google user to fill out a Google form. Just click on the link. You should be able to just fill in that information. And this is when you click on that link, more or less what it looks like. Put your name, parents, it's what email is being used, student name, date of the absence, reason for the absence, the parent name. In theory, this should be filled out by a parent. So if it's not being filled out by the parent, you guys have done a good job of explaining why the student's filling it out. I've got a lot of my mom standing behind me right now watching me type this sorts of things. So I appreciate that. A quick comment on practices, and if you're going to miss a portion of it, it's much better to come late or to leave early than to miss the whole thing altogether. Trying to make up a missed practice, that's a lot easier to do on a weight room day when you could see Coach Poise at lunch, or possibly an alternate day or something like that. It's pretty hard to make up a Kezar workout. There's nobody out there. You're not going to get the same workout without a coach there with you. The equipment isn't there if you go by yourself at some other time. So, learning the patterns here. Everyone has weight room on Tuesdays. Everyone except distance has weight room on Thursdays. So those are your best days if you need to see a teacher, make up a test, see your orthodontist, things like that. The Tuesday, Thursdays are going to give you kind of your best chance to kind of make up for the practice and not have an unexcused absence, which costs you a meet. If you're involved in a club sport or the choir, the band, or some other activity like a Kairos retreat that causes you to miss practice, I want to let you know you could still be held out of the next meet, even if you told us ahead of time. A lot of it just depends on how much practice time you missed. If the coaches feel you haven't practiced sufficiently recently and it would not be productive to throw you into a meet, we'll still hold you out. An example of that would be someone was gone for Kairos all of last week. The person was back Friday, the meet was on Saturday, but it just wasn't in the athlete's best interest to compete on Saturday, having not practiced for 4 days. So we held that person out. You won't be excused completely from practice for a regularly occurring non-medical weekly conflict for the whole season. So you can't say, I have a job on Friday, so I can't come on Fridays. That's the only day I'm going to miss. That's just not something that's going to work out because you're going to miss too much time. It's nothing personal. A lot of this is for safety. It's to have a competitive experience. It's our team policies. It's being fair to your teammates who are at practice. These are the standards and expectations we've had for quite a few years in this program. A lot of SHC athletes have been able to abide by them, and I'm confident that this current group of 100 student athletes will as well. Next up is meets. I threw together this chart here that maybe kind of helps you visualize just the meets. So you can see the WCAL meets. There are 5 of them this year. A couple of them are tri-meets, meaning there's going to be 3 schools, and then the rest are dual meets. At the WCAL meets, everybody on the team goes. We take 2 buses. There's usually some form of an early dismissal to leave school to get to wherever we're going for the meet in time for warm up, and the meet will start at 3 o'clock. And these are all on Wednesdays. They start March 9th against SI. And at these meets, we get 5 entries per event per division. So we can have 5 varsity boys in the 100, 5 frost soft boys in the 100, 5 varsity girls in the 100, 5 JV girls in the 100. And this is true of all the lane events, the distance events, and sometimes in the field events, they will give us more than 5. But that's up to the host coach and the host school. The invitationals, which are on Saturdays, the first one being this coming Saturday at Clayton Valley, the Ugly Eagle Relays. For those meets, we typically have 1 bus and about half the team will go. And you kind of have to qualify either, within our team to be in the top half of the group, or sometimes the meet will have a time standard that you have to hit that mark or hit that time before you're allowed into the meet, or they'll have an entry limit that prevents me from bringing everybody. So we've settled into a rhythm where it's pretty much half the team kind of makes this what I sometimes call the invitational travel squad. And it'll be somewhere 50 people or so. The exact who it is will vary week to week, because sometimes someone who normally goes isn't available. So then we'll shift up and let the next person go. The invitational I had planned for April 2nd was canceled. So this is the first time I'm probably announcing it, that we are actually going to meet on March 26th in Castro Valley. That's the replacement meet. I recognize that that's junior prom and that I'm going to be down a lot of people that day, or I'm going to have people, I'm assuming I'm going to have the girls going to junior prom not coming to the meet because they need the full day. Traditionally, the boys tell me they can look great in less than an hour and they'll come for the first portion of the meet, and I'll let them leave early to make it in time for pictures and whatnot for prom. So it's one of those things that just couldn't be helped, finding a replacement meet. So we do have a meet on junior prom day. So again, on the buses, with 100 people, which is what we have right now, as long as they send us the 254 passenger buses, we should be good to go. But obviously, if you're competing, you're going to be the first to get a seat on the bus. If we end up getting 2 smaller buses and have to leave people back, we try to take all the managers to the Wednesday WCL meets, but not all the managers will go on Saturdays. And then if you're being held out of the meet, or if you're sick and you're not competing, you probably would just stay at school rather than having to miss class time. But that's something you and I will work out when we get to that moment. Okay, action items. So here's all the things people need to do. The team contract, we did it via Google form this year. So that link was in the chat earlier. You fill it out, you're just attesting that you're going to follow our policies there. The student and a parent name needs to appear there. The spirit fee is done on form site, and it's $60, and that does include your team shirt, and it pays for various awards and when we feed you and things like that. And again, that link is in the chat. As of 11 a.m. this morning, we were 80% done. We had 80 spirit fees paid as of this morning and 80 team contracts turned in as of this morning. And they weren't the identical same 80 people. So you last 20%, let's get on it. And maybe this will help if I say right now to the group, the managers are considered on the team. So the managers need to do the contract and the spirit fee as well, because we're going to feed you and give you shirts as well. Parent volunteers. So there is a link to a Google Doc. That one you may need to be a Google user to add information to. There's kind of 4 things I'm looking for parent volunteers to help with. March 18th, it's a morning practice at Kezar. It's a Friday. I'd love to arrange to have some food for the team after that practice. Friday, May 6th is WCL finals at St. Francis. And we've traditionally had a parent committee organize getting us kind of a catered dinner delivered to us in the stand so that people can eat something warm and of substance after their last event. The awards event for the end of the year is scheduled for May 25th. So I'm looking for people to help me with that. Some of that is just helping collect money from the parents for coaches' gifts, and some of that's organizing the actual event. And we'll have to see where things are in May about in food and where we can eat. And we've been using the theater for the awards presentation. So that's where we hope to go, but there's no food allowed in the Paul lobby. So that's kind of what this committee needs to work on with me. And bag watching. Looking for people that can come by. I've listed the location and the time, the date there. We're just looking for people that can come, kind of help sit with the bags. If there are parents there that can do that, that does free up the managers to come help with what's going on at practice. If there are no parents, and we do leave a manager or 2 with the bags. I do have a request if anyone's available this Friday to bag watch from like 10 to 11:30 at Kezar. That'd be great, because I'd like to bring I'd like to bring everyone, including the managers, on our urban hike that we're going to do on Friday after the 1-hour practice from 9 to 10. So you sign up again on this Google Doc. If you really want to volunteer, you're not a Google user, email me and I'll add your name, or we can have a back and forth email about what you're interested in doing. Okay, on to buying things. Okay, the uniform, the singlets and the shorts. This appears to be going well. You buy it in the upper atrium before school and at lunch. Tomorrow is lunch only because of the Founders Day schedule for Ash Wednesday. Don't forget to come and dress up attire. It's $40 for a singlet. It's $40 for the shorts, cash, check, or card. It's important that you get the right shorts. You need to know what event you're doing, and then a list there whether you should get the generic shorts, the half tights, baggy shorts, the spandex, things like that. The singlets, just so you know, you're buying a singlet it has a smaller SHC on the front, smaller than I'd like, but that's what came. The singlet has a green shamrock on the back on the kind of the white part. If you own a singlet that has Irish written down the back of that singlet, we're not using that one anymore. Retire it, put it somewhere. And that's not the one I want worn at meets. It's this new one that has the shamrock on the back, the white part. Hey, team store. This has been fun. So that link, I believe, is the same one I've been sending all along. I don't think it changed. He sent it to me again this morning. I think what has changed is they pushed some button that he can now check out. So those are the 11 items are available. So you can put them in your cart, check out, buy it, etc. And that's going to stay open for the next week or so. So you need to kind of make your order of those things. So that's our team store, and that's what's available. The hoodie, the Nike Team Club Fleece hoodie. I'm wearing mine just to kind of show off, like I got mine, haha. So around March 11th, they believe they're going to have it in stock. And they've already shown me that's what the page is going to look like when it's in stock. So when it's in stock, and I'm going to hover on this page starting on March 9th, probably every day, hitting refresh to see when it's there. When it's there, I will share the link to you. It's going to be in a more general store where they sell athletic department things or things that are not specific to the track and field team. So you'll be able to, at that point, follow that link, click on it, make sure you pick track and field as your sport, or you're going to get an SHC, baseball or swimming or some other sport other than track and field listed if you don't put track and field as your selection. And you'll finally get to order this item that's been the bane of my existence for the last week. So fingers crossed for March 11th. Again, thank you for bearing with me as I fly through these things. Game day attire. I must admit, I did not go on to the athletic handbook that Coach Freed linked to it a little while ago. I'm hoping what I pulled from cross country is accurate enough, but you do need to be in what we call game day attire on days that we have that it's a school day and we have a meet after school. So more or less those WCAL Wednesday meets. So it's listed out there. You need to be, in a proper shirt, khaki or black pants, have the belt. If you're on varsity, you need the varsity jacket. Early in the season, we're going to make sure you can do this. We'll call you up to the upper atrium. We'll check you off. If you're not in game day attire, you won't compete that day.
So Coach Chen, I just have a couple things to say about this.
Yeah.
So first of all, the athletic polo shirt. So we made a decision, athletic administration, not to sell it this year because we did not get them to the middle of winter season. So we are allowing a dress shirt of some sorts, similar to what you have to wear tomorrow for dress up day, to be sufficient. Also, I will make mention that there may be some of you who still were looking to purchase varsity jackets. We had quite a run over the last couple of weeks with regards to these varsity jackets, to a point where we ran out of most sizes, unfortunately. And I checked with the vendor, and he's not going to be able to deliver until, or he wouldn't be able to deliver until the end of April. So I said to him, don't worry about it. The only sizes we have currently in stock are extra small. So if you feel you can fit into those, please come by the prep shop and we will sell them to you. Everyone else, I apologize. You'll be able to buy it in the fall when we get our new shipments for the 22-23 school year. But some of the items that you purchase off at the track and field would be allowable in place of the varsity jacket if you don't unable to purchase one because we don't have your size.
They need the tie with the dress shirt.
No, they don't. No, they don't. But our sister is selling ties. It's not required. But if you are looking or want to purchase a tie, you could do that as well.
Okay. All right. So before the first meet at SI, I'll do a Schoology post reminding you again specifically what the game day attire is. So I just want to my comment on game day attire is it is such a silly way to miss a meet opportunity. You have total control over what you wear. I'm going to remind you enough times that you shouldn't slip your mind. And I think just not being in game day attire when you're told to be in game day attire, it's just disrespecting the rules. And it's, like I said, it's a silly way to not be able to compete at a meet. So it's listed out there what you're supposed to wear. It's not that complicated. Let's try to get this done. I think I say this every year. Yeah, I sure would like to have 100% of the people pass game day attire check on March 9th. And every year I say it, and you'd be amazed, we haven't gone 100% yet. So let's do it this year, people. Come on. Another thing on game day attire is you need to stay in game day attire until you are dismissed on your early dismissal to go to the bus. So you can't go to lunch, get checked, and then change. It's stay in game day attire until you're dismissed to the bus. Okay, some other general things as we wind down here. I know I'm doing this in record time. So obviously you need to take care of your academics. Some of you have learned, or some of you already knew this, but some of you learned in the last week or two that I have a PowerSchool login and I use it. I talk to your teachers a lot. I don't think you should expect that you're going to be able to keep any secrets from me about your performance in the classroom. I'm kind of an open book to teachers, saying if someone at track and field is having problems, is giving you trouble, let me know who they are, and then I'll talk to you on behalf of that teacher. We've seen that the injuries are starting to crop up as we hit week 3 of training. So the time to see the athletic trainers is at lunch, and their athletic training office is on the first floor of the Student Life Center, right by the fitness center entrance. So you need to go there at lunch. I would suggest if you are being seen for a lower leg injury that you wear shorts underneath your khakis, so that when you go to the training room, you can pull off your khakis, you're in shorts, they can do some mobility testing and other tests on you, things that they can't do if you're in pants. So once you see the trainers, they make an injury report for me. They send it to me sometime in the afternoon so that before practice starts, I have an idea of who's been seen and if any decisions need to be made or just kind of what the plan is. After you go see the trainer, if you are better the next day or the next week or whatever, you need to go back and see them to kind of check out. Because what happens is you end up on my injury list until you do that. And it gets tiresome to see the same person with a note that so-and-so didn't report back, so-and-so didn't report back. And then you've been on it for 2 weeks saying so-and-so didn't report back. So I don't want to have to start reminding you to do that. It just eats into my time going through an injury report and then sending you an email to tell you to go see the trainers. Just in your mind, probably the last thing either Oscar or Jessica says to you is what to do next. And probably one of those things is going to be, come back and see me tomorrow. So make sure you do that, as well as the icing, the stretching, or whatever else they told you to do. A couple quick comments on uniforms. You know, I do like it when you tuck in your uniform. It's just a classier look. And as we saw on Saturday, when you don't tuck in your uniform, then your jersey will hang down and block your hip number, and then the camera can't get an accurate picture of your finish. And then we don't get an accurate time. Okay, so tuck in the jersey, put the hip on the hip, not on your thigh. It's camera taking the picture from the side. I keep that sticker on your shorts for the minimal amount of time necessary so that you don't get that stain on your shorts. Okay. Keep your uniform on during competition. You know, if you're watching some of the Olympic races, you see someone run this great race or have a terrific jump or a terrific throw, and then they run around to the camera and they rip their jersey off. That played out fine in Tokyo for some of the athletes, but that will get you DQ'd in the CCS and in the CIF. So do not remove your uniform in the field of competition. We have had people warned for this. I don't know if we've had anyone DQ'd lately, but we definitely gotten some warnings in the back in 2019 when we had our last normal season. Anything under your uniform that shows should be all white. I'm talking about if you're wearing compression shorts under your compression shorts or compression shorts under your baggy shorts, If you're wearing some type of undershirt or something under your singlet, that's fine if that's a personal preference of what you want to do, but it needs to be all white with minimal logo from that item of clothing. The comment I made yesterday, I think, on it was there are no rules about the color of your sports bra, because in all honesty, no one should be looking at your sports bra and noting what color it is. And if you feel that somebody is, you come let me know. No cell phones at the meets. If you hit it well for me on Saturday, if you were, I thought we did great. I appreciate that people are engaged, cheering, doing all the things that we want you to do at the meets. I think all the picture taking I saw were being done with regular cameras. So keep that up, be present and engage with your teammates. And I think if you keep doing what we did on Saturday, that will be great. On swearing, it seems to be getting worse and worse. I'm not a fan of it. Don't do it. It's immature, it's unnecessary, it's inappropriate. I want to challenge you to improve your vocabulary so you can express yourself in less vulgar terms. Because some of you, that seems to be your go-to words for anything. So let's clean that up. I'm going to call you on as much as I can, but it also gets tiring on my end when I've had to correct like 5 people in the last 2 minutes. Our policy on meets is that you stay for the entire meet. It's you ride the bus there, you're off your phone, engage with the team, and then you stay until we sing alma mater at the end. If you have a special circumstance, special situation, just talk to me beforehand. We handled a few of those this last Saturday at SI. We can work with things, but for the most part, I want you to see that a track and field meet involves being there at the beginning with the team, being there throughout the meet, and being there to sing alma mater at the end. I don't know how many other schools and how many other teams do it that way, but that's certainly the way we do it. I know our veterans take pride in the fact that we do it this way, and they make fun of the other schools that we see kind of come, run, and leave, or come, throw, and leave, and don't really participate with their team. Lost and found has been picking up, which is good. That was my kettle corn dark chocolate supply sometime last year near Valentine's Day, maybe. Getting a little low again. I am doing pretty well on kettle corn thanks to the cross country seniors. But lost and found. If I'm carrying around your water bottle, if I'm carrying around your sweaty t-shirt, if I'm carrying around your hoodie because you left it sitting there, the least you could do is buy me something I like to eat, which tends to be kettle corn or dark chocolate. All right, so this sounds like a lot, and I went through it very, very quickly, but I want to tell you it's all very doable. As you get to know me, you'll learn that I'm picky about you being at practice. I harp a lot on people cheering at the meets. I harp a lot on people not being on their phones at meets and at practice. I expect everyone to arrive at the meet with the team, stay engaged the whole meet, and sing the alma mater at the end. But one reason we do all that is to have moments like what's pictured in front of you right now, which was from the last WCL dual meet last year. I love these team huddles that we do, and I don't think they would have the same meaning and the same memorable emotional moments without kind of all the things that we do leading up to that. You can't just show up on May 6th and have that type of moment. You have to all through the season kind of do what we're telling you to do in terms of being a good teammate. So the quote of the week was, if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. So I hope that brings us through for this season. I'm on to my conclusion slide. I think Coach Freed took 13 minutes, so I took 32, so I'm only 2 minutes over there. So we'll call that a win. I can, if you have, obviously there's 93 of us here. So if you want to ask a question, you're asking in front of 93 your closest friends. You're welcome to do that if it's a pretty general question. I haven't looked at the chat while I was talking. I'll take a quick glance and reach out to me, email, things like that. But I'll stay on for a little while. I do have my corned beef in my crock pot right over there. That's going to beep in 10 minutes. That I'm salivating to get at. So I don't see myself on past 8 though. I'm not sure what access code you are looking for, Dorothy Mock. Sandra, I haven't successfully checked out.
Hi, Coach Chan. I haven't been getting any information about the track and field. Is that in a email or something, or?
If your son or daughter is in the Schoology group, you should get the same messages that they get, but you could also join on your own. If you email me, I'll send you the Schoology join code.
Okay. What's your email?
The same as everyone at school, first initial, last name, so achan@shcp.edu.
Okay, thank you.
So as far as I know, the shopping carts were, has anyone successfully checked out at the team store?
Andy, I just did. It's working.
All right, congratulations. Yes, so the button down shirt with the tie is the alternative since we're not selling the athletic polo. The athletic polo shirt, if they are being sold, is at the Irish Prep Shop, Chloe. And we plan to let people know possibility Wednesday at practice. I'll be able to know who's going on Saturday, if not certainly by Thursday for this coming week. And like I told the student athletes, they're welcome to reach out to me individually if they have a pressing need to know before then. I don't know if this is a keeper presentation, but I will share it somehow when I figure out where it's saved in my computer. And yes, the varsity jackets are sold only to apparently extra small people right now, but varsity jackets are sold to, you need it to be listed on the list that I posted by my office last Friday as one of the varsity teams, either varsity boys or varsity girls. Yes, I've run through everything I saw in chat. So unless you have questions, enjoy the rest of the evening.
All right. Thanks, Coach Chan.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Is anyone on here because they're waiting with a question? Question, Calvin or Brian or Ella or Sterling?
I think you can shut it down, Coach. I'll
Yep.
see you tomorrow, Andy.
Okay, bye-bye.
Right.